watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
The special meeting minutes of July 6th. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Make a motion, we approve the regular meeting minutes of July 12th, 2023.
Okay, the regular meeting minutes of July 12th have been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion, we approve the non-public meeting minutes of July 12th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the non-public meeting minutes of July 12th. Further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Any additions to
Yes, I added on the deed for the one of the lots we sold on Municipid on the north boundary of Marcy Hill Road and Route 12, previously voted on.
Okay.
Is it on here, Michael?
It's not. It's in the binder here, but it's not.
Just put it in as a deed and you...
Yeah, I can give you the map and lot.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the consent agenda with the additions. Seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public input.
We have anybody online? No. Is it?
Okay. Okay, we got Northland music.
Do you want me to just give a brief introduction and then turn it over to our friends here? So I had a meeting with Mike and Seth a couple weeks ago, Sarah and I. The concert this year again was a success, so they're looking at continuing it, which is great news. And part of that discussion was, is there a way we can potentially not have to come back every year for an event permit? We discussed the variance option, which was kind of initially pursued a little bit with the ZBA and then withdrawn. I think that is still an option at getting that use approved at the by the zoning board for the property. Or another option could be a multi-year special event permit. I don't know. We have not looked into it. I suggested we have kind of an initial informal just discussion to see if that was something the board was even interested in entertaining. If not, does it make sense to spend a bunch of time researching if it's possible? So these gentlemen can tell you kind of what prompted that, but I just wanted you to have that background. So we're certainly not expecting a decision or anything tonight. It's just an initial discussion and for some feedback about if it's something we want to pursue further or not.
Okay.
So Michael, there's been no discussion with Cordell?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so thanks for your time putting us on the agenda. Like you said, we've had another successful event, and we're looking to do another one next year, and et cetera, and it's not the only thing that we're looking to do. There are so many more things that we plans that we'd like to put into motion with the fairgrounds for other events, and they're not all music related. There is another weekend of music that we'd like to do, but we'd also like to do things like a haunted hayride and a haunted house, and that would be an event that would last for maybe a month. And Christmas lights, where you walk through the fairgrounds, and there's a million lights and various shapes of animals and tunnels and this and that. And that would be another thing that happens in the holidays and would last for a month. So there's all these things that would be good for the community, good for the local economy, good for arts and entertainment in the area, good for the culture in general. But this current festival we have is kind of the linchpin financially for all of it. So basically, the conversation we want to have with you is do you have an appetite for discussing a long-term permit? And the reason we ask that is because this event has grown into such a successful thing, and there's so many employees and so much effort and so much money involved at this point that it's not really a viable business model to potentially have a permit not happen one year. You know, there's no other event of our size that doesn't have a long-term permit. It's sort of a normal thing for festivals in general. Once they get a few festivals under their belt and they're successful and they're sort of following a growth curve to you know, talk with the towns and get into a long-term permit, which, you know, ensures that they can, you know, formulate a long-term plan and formulate long-term finances and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, not much else would change really, you know. The permit would kind of be the same, we'd have the same parameters, so it wouldn't be something where it'd be long-term and then something could change midstream, you know, we still have to abide by the same rules, you know. I'm sure that would be maybe something that could be of concern on the town's end, but it kind of just makes it really just guarantees that we can like continue our business that we've put a lot on the line every year for, you know, and just hoping that we can have like a home, you know. We live here and this is kind of like become our second home, Swanzey, especially business-wise, and we work well with the fair, you know, and we really like the town, we just want to stay here, you know, so the only way to really stay is to know that we can be here long-term. It's just, I guess it comes down to running a business that we take such a big risk on every year that we have to get in front of the board and possibly get the permit pulled or not approved every year. There's a lot on the line, so we're just trying to find a way to be able to have a long-term, you know, home, which we need, and, you know, a way that it just allows us to do other things too, because I think once we get that with the festival itself, then we know we're here for a while, and then we know we can do a thing like the winter lights, and we can do something that's Halloween based. So it kind of just depends on the festival. It kind of starts there and then opens up a lot of other doors too. And we like being here and we want to stay here.
And we are doing things to start to integrate with the community more. We actually are, you know, in talks with the school right now, and we are putting on a campaign that's going to raise money to donate to the school's music program, and that's something that is new, and we're just started up now. But next year is something so we're going to give that money this year once the campaign is over. And, you know, next year is something we'll integrate with sponsors. We'll integrate that with the festival itself, and we'll be able to raise more money and give that to the school music program. And there are other ways that we, you know, be integrated into the community, because that's what it is at this point. You know, it's kind of like bringing together a community.
We actually launched the fundraiser yesterday for the Nonpublic Regional Middle High School Music Department and made $1,200 on day one, which is not bad for day one, but we'll see where it goes, you know. And it's being music related, it's kind of easy to kind of connect with other people like in our scene and in our world to like know that we're doing something like that locally and it's music based. So pretty good first day. I think $1,200, yeah.
As far as the fair is concerned, I'm here to represent Cheshire Fair. I'm Deb, the vice president down there. We've had a great working relationship with them, and if this becomes their home, just like any of us, you want the best for your home. So we have some talks that we've been talking with them about some improvements on grounds that we can work on together. That would just get us back to where we should be, being able to use our grounds better. We have some long-term plans of upgrading buildings, possibly adding permanent buildings. We've been talking for years about permanent bathrooms. These are some of the things that just prevent us from right now from being able to rent our facilities to other agriculture, which is where we are. It's going to help us to support our agricultural, because we'll be able to bring in more of these dog shows and horse shows and cat shows and goat shows that we just don't have the proper facilities for at this moment. So for us, it would be a great financial to help create to help continue our agriculture purpose as well.
Can I have your name, could I have your name, please?
I'm going to spell my last name. My first name is Deb.
Deb?
Yeah, the last name, I'm going to spell it for you because it's long.
Okay.
W-O-J
Okay.
T-K
T-K.
I-E
L-E.
W-I-C-Z.
W-I-C.
Z.
Z.
Yes.
That is
Like
long.
the letters.
That is a long name.
Oh, I was gonna make Sly pronounce it.
W. They just call me Deb W.
That's all.
C-Y.
Poor Deb.
So that's I guess that's the long and the short of it, and we understand that it's the beginning of a conversation on first whether you have to have the appetite to consider something like this, and second what that might look like, because we realize it's It's a new thing. It's a different type of permit. I guess at this point, we're happy to answer any questions you might have. Open book here.
Would it be the same weekend every year?
That's definitely, yes, that's the plan is to keep it on the same weekend every year, correct?
All set.
Well, we're talking two different things here. We're talking the music concert, and we're talking the lights and the hayride or.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking, so the music festival itself is sort of the foundation financially to do all these other things. And if this is a long-term home for this festival, then that allows us to do these other things, you know, do the festival and maybe the Christmas lights next year, and then the year after that add on the Halloween thing, and at some point add on the one other music event that we want to do.
So right now, though, we're just asking for one long-term permit for just the festival.
Yes.
It's just that one permit, knowing that we'll be able to be here long-term, opens up for us a lot more time and money into the fair as well.
Allows us to invest in our partnership with the fair.
You're familiar with what they're looking for, so you can talk intelligently with Cordell.
Yes.
Okay. And I think that's probably the next step is to, what? Yeah, Sly, hello. You there?
Yeah, Ken, the only thing I'd be concerned about is I almost think because the makeup of our board could change every year, we enter into a 3-year agreement, multi-year agreement. I think we might need or should maybe think about getting a warrant article to authorize us to do that, because the legislative body, you know, is the one that they can make the multi-year agreements, because this board can change every year.
I mean, I see your point, but I'm not sure. I think this is a question for Cordell to answer.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a good point, though.
I think it's a good point, but I think we can enter into multi-year agreements despite the fact that this board changes, can change.
I know multi-year appropriations need either town meeting approval or a way out of them. So yeah, that's a good point, Sly. We'll discuss that with Cordell.
Okay.
So would you be comfortable if we were, I don't know if we're being asked for it, but if we went and granted the permit for 2024 while Cordell worked on language that could be put in as a warrant article, would that be acceptable?
Yeah, I'm not saying that it has to be a warrant article. I'm just saying that it's something we ought to consider and maybe run it by Cordell.
I should have added.
Any agreement we enter into, we usually have a clause in there that, you know, a future board could vacate it. So, I don't know.
I should have added, they've separately filed their application for next year, so that's in the process, and we have a public hearing scheduled for the 16th, I think. Yeah, so that's happening kind of in parallel. They didn't want to wait and then get it in because they got the noticing requirements, so that's kind of happening separately.
I was not aware that when we entered any long-term agreements that a future board could unilaterally extinguish or withdraw from that agreement without cause. And I wouldn't want to see that, depending on what Cordell comes back with, that we approach them with a multi-year contract that gives a future board the opportunity to disallow it. I think that they're asking for business certainty, and I think we as a community owe that to them. And I don't think that any long-term contract, like for example, the one that we have with the junior swamp bats, I'm not aware that there's a clause in there that allows a future board, if they're in a 3-year contract and you're in year 2, to void it. Is there?
No, I believe there's, if there's a default, there's a noticing. And
Yeah,
then-
but the board can't just without cause terminate that agreement, can it?
For that one, no, I don't think so. For like the ambulance one, I believe there's a 90-day, no.
But, right, either party can give notice,
Right.
and I understand that part. But there's gotta be cause. Then, in the sense of, you know, the board to void the ambulance contract would have to have a fallback. Maybe the town's decided to engage the purchase of 3 ambulances and 40 people to operate them, and, you know, that makes sense. But in this case, where it's a business asking for certainty, I personally would object to having a clause in there that let a future board just unilaterally, without cause, terminate the agreement. I think it's worth running by Cordell for certain, but I just don't think it would, I wouldn't want you to accept it.
We,
I
that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for certainty, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Even though
So I think they're good points that Sly brings up, but I just don't think, just because a board makeup changes, I don't think it should have that capability.
I would agree with that.
So you got plenty between Sly and the 2 of us to bring the Cordell.
Would be easy.
Yeah. But in general, Sly, you're okay with the concept?
Oh, yeah, you know, I support what they're doing there, but again, why would anybody get ZBA approval or, you know, get a land use approval for a venue when they can just come to the board and get a multi-year deal? You know, it's almost like we're giving them a variance for 3 years that they don't need to actually, be licensed as a venue.
I can speak to that too, because I think the variance would be more open, and if I'm reading it correctly, where we'd be able to do multiple events at all times. You know, we're really just looking to license into one event on the same weekend every year. So it is just the same event on the same weekend. Now, the other things we're talking about, it does open those doors. We have to apply for a permit for each one of those events every time. We're talking about the lights, and if there was another music event, that'd all be separate. So I guess that would be the difference there. We wouldn't just be opening it up to music events in that district at all times. We're just looking for one event, one time a year.
And it would be specific to the applicant, whereas a variance is general to the property.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Sounds like you're getting, we'll look into it more, so maybe hopefully we'll have some more info by the time you guys come back in a few weeks.
Great. Thank you for your time, everyone. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Deb, thank you for coming in and letting us know that your board is looking at ways to utilize the property more effectively and efficiently.
Yes.
That's exciting to hear.
Yes, we have a strategic planning group that's been working for long-term plans on, like I said, permanent toilets, showers, improvements on the arena so that can be a better facility. We've had a lot of interest in renting the property, and these are the things that are holding us back. So a long-term deal with them would enable us to start making some more financial improvements in the grounds. And that's what we want. We want to be here for the long haul.
Sure. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
well, thank you.
May I ask just a question? I know my fireworks company is on the agenda for tonight. Do you need me here for that, or is that strictly with them?
I think it would be helpful. It's only 3 more minutes, so yeah, I think it'd be helpful. Just,
I'll stay for
I
that.
don't see a crowd, so I
Yeah, right.
thank you for your time.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll talk to you guys. I'll email you for.
I guess 8 minutes.
Yeah, perfect. Please.
What's that?
I guess it's 8 minutes. They're at 6:05. But,
No, it's 3.
well, they're at 6:05. We have the dump truck at 6, so it's actually like 8 minutes, but it'll go quick.
I'm here. I'm just going back to the grounds to get ready for next week after this.
I bet you are.
Well,
We'll talk August schedule.
sure.
trying to kind of balance between what we did this current month and then, obviously Labor Day, the Labor Day week, the first Wednesday. I suggested 8/2, 8/16, and 8/30, so every other in August.
Did you catch that, Sly?
Yeah, I'm just putting it in the phone.
So those are the dates you're suggesting, dates?
For August.
8/2, 8/16, and 8/30, is that correct?
Yes,
Thank you.
What page is that?
it's 4. Yeah, I neglected to put it on the initial agenda I sent out, but
Oh, all right. Didn't break it up. All right, Sly's got it in his phone, you've got it in your phone,
you've got it in your steel trap.
steel trap. What,
Give
any
me the motion.
consensus?
Sounds like we have it.
Okay. All right,
I think I can do B in about a minute.
okay,
Brownfield improvements, so as you know, that's kind of been looming as a property we'd like to explore some improvements. Kind of the prompting has been to try to incorporate some pickleball over there for folks who are interested, but the building's in need of a lot of TLC, the lights are aging, so we'd really like to get maybe an engineer, maybe some kind of a site person to help us kind of make sure we're maximizing what we can do, and it'll be part of a process that will apply for Land Water Conservation Fund grant, which has supported that property in the past. So I'd like to issue the RFQ to try to find someone to assist with the design in anticipation of a future grant.
Any questions, Sly?
Consensus is good.
I'm sorry, I don't know where you are.
Sorry, new business B.
Brownfield.
New business B, oh, the brownfield thing, oh, okay, that's what you were talking about, sorry.
okay, so the consensus is to go with it.
Thank you.
All
We came in
right.
a little under budget on the, within budget on Richardson Park, so I think we'll have funding for that.
All right, now we're gonna open the public hearing under RSA 31, colon 95-B, acceptance of expenditure, anticipation of funds in the amount of $50,000 from the United States Department of Agriculture, Rural Development Community Facilities Program, and it's for a dump truck. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Okay, I'll make the motion to accept and expend the unanticipated funds as it's in our packet.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye?
We did it right at 6 o'clock. Now you have to fill 5 minutes.
No?
Yes,
No?
yes.
Yes?
The next one's noted for 6:05. Who knows who's gonna walk in at 6:04? Actually, it is kind of serious though, so.
Can I just add something here, since you have a couple of minutes? I have the brownfield improvements, but you have a motion that you recommended, but the board is doing this by consensus instead? And that's why my confusion.
Yeah, just consensus. I
That's okay.
didn't think I had a motion, but yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right. What else have we got?
Fire station project update.
Well, is it gonna take longer than 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
Either way, we can wait. You can do a couple other quick ones if you want. We got back our bonding information from the New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank, getting that mailed off
That was quite
in the
favorable.
nick of time. So yeah, for the 10-year bond, this was for Upper Wilson Pond Dam came into an effective interest rate of 2.98%. So that was 440,000. So I think they had quoted last fall like around 5%. So that was good, and 10 years, which is the term we did, ended up being the best rate, fortunately. So
Good job, Michael.
just got lucky. Good
If you'd been
good
an
job,
hour
bond
later-
bank.
Huh?
I said good job, bond bank.
Oh, yeah, but if you'd been an hour later, didn't get it in by express mail,
We would
might
have
be looking at something different.
we would have found a way. I don't live too far from Concord. We would have got it there. Then the other thing that was in your correspondence, it's from the Southwestern Regional Planning Commission about the Monadnock Alliance for Sustainable Transportation's next round of Complete Streets implementation grants. So we've been successfully using those for over on South Winchester Street, and then the Swanzey Center sidewalk project. We had planned on applying for the sidewalk improvements around North Winchester and California Street for the upcoming round. Sounds like they have more funding this year, so.
All right.
604, it'll be 605 by the time you finish reading the notice.
Now we headed up to Talbot Hill Road,
It's the next phase, Swansea Center South.
Swansea Center South. Good, good to know. Just
just-
talk slowly.
I suppose that you're talking about reading the thing, but
I think you can do the executive summary.
I do the executive summary. The public hearing pursuant to RSA 286:1 and 2, approval of fireworks display at the Cheshire Fairgrounds on August 3rd, rain date of August 5th. Special event permit is 2023-11. We'll open the public hearing. Questions?
Just wanted to note that we had to ask for the application again, so it'd be great if we could be proactive and apply.
We have already adjusted that on our things to do calendar and have initiated that for June, by June to have it initiated.
Okay, great,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Sly, questions?
Not for me.
Bill, questions? Public questions? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. And I guess we'll issue a permit.
Bill, you're gonna make that motion?
Yeah. So Beverly, I'll make the motion to approve the event permit as it's written in the packet.
Go ahead.
Sly, second.
Motion is made and seconded. The further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thanks for coming in, Deb.
Thank you so
Nice to
much.
meet you.
You too.
Have good luck at the fair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe all the rain came in July.
But we're hoping now that these need to dry out.
Yeah.
Yes, looking like a good one though, so, hope to see y'all there.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
You're gonna be working the speaker one of those days, right?
Oh. No,
Busy again, huh?
I'm busy. But if they want to give us passes and that sort of thing, I'm sure we can make use.
Very good.
Okay, what else?
Fire station project update.
Yep,
So after last meeting, when we discussed kind of re-engaging on this project, I had a discussion with Katie Sutherland. And the idea I suggested to her, which I heard from another community as, you know, we brainstormed different things, was that another community, they're earlier on in their process, so not as, they don't have an initial floor plan developed like we do. They're starting more from scratch, but got involved even before the architect, a construction management company. So basically you're you're getting on board the company that's going to hopefully ultimately build the project, and by getting them involved sooner, they can impart their expertise in terms of value engineering. Hey, this is set up this way. We really think you could save money by, moving this wall that way, or building it out of this material, or various items like that. So she agreed that that's a way to get to where I think we're trying to go, which is a lower cost project, and get the best bang for our buck while spending as little money on design as possible. We need to update the estimate anyway, and by having the company that's ultimately hopefully going to build the project do it, you're not going to run into, we didn't provide that estimate. They would give what's called a guaranteed maximum price that we could go into and not have to worry about things changing between when the vote happens and when the project gets approved. So kind of along the brownfield line, I would like to ask the board to authorize us issuing a request for qualifications to try to select a firm to do that role this fall with us.
So when they come back with a number, does it then go out to RFP? So others are...
No.
No.
So we would be picking through this process who would ultimately be building it.
Okay. And then if we just decide as we go along and the numbers aren't where we know they need to be, do we have any obligation?
No. Nope.
Sounds to me like it's a win-win.
Yep.
Sly, your thoughts?
Yeah, that works for me.
How is it structured?
The contract?
Well, this RFP, how is it structured? Because it in some ways is the cart before the horse, but in other ways it's not.
Right.
So they're essentially coming up with potentially what the finished design would be. And then they're quoting based on that without any other input.
They wouldn't be quoting yet. They would be providing their qualifications for us to select them.
No, I'm saying they're picked,
gotcha.
they're selected.
Gotcha.
So what assurances do we have going into it that we're going to come out of it with the flexibility that we need in order to get something on the warrant that has a reasonable expectation of being passed?
Well, ultimately that's our responsibility to give them, between working with them and the architect, the feedback to get to a project that we feel would be successful. So it's going to be the give and take between them saying, yes, I know this maybe looks better to the architect, but this is a way to get the same value at a lower cost.
Sure.
So it'd be just a little bit more of a push-pull versus before it was just, the community and then the architect. So it kind of adds additional dynamic.
Okay. So Katie would still be involved in the process,
Right.
to some degree?
In the floor plan and redesign, like what we discussed last meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All set?
Well, we have Bill here, so he should have an opportunity.
It sounds good to me.
Sounds like consensus. Let's not mess it up.
Okay.
Sly, you're on board?
Consensus.
Okay. So now we're on to non-publics,
Yes, sir.
okay?
So the first one is for A, dismissal, promotion, or compensation of a public employee.
I'll make that motion that we go into non-public under A, but before I make the motion, how does that impact Sly? Because
We'll stop the recording and boot out anyone else, but keep Sly on Zoom.
okay, then no one else would have access?
Right, because they go into a waiting room. You have to let them in, right? People try to join.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Sly, I'm making the motion that we go into non-public under A.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded to go into non-public under A.
Colby,
Aye.
Hutwalker, Karazinski,
Aye.
end the recording.